What's up, everyone? So, I wanted to talk about something that I've been really wanting to for a while, but I've never gotten around to it. So, a bit back, there was a big tournament called Inkstorm 4. Probably you might have heard of it somewhere on like Twitter or something. But it was a really big competitive tournament that had a cash prize and everything, and it had teams from both the Western community and Japan were participating in this. And there was a huge problem near the end where, I guess I wouldn't even call it a problem, but there was a Japanese team that played against the team Chimera, which is commonly referred to as the best Western team. And the Japanese team basically did what people would consider a cheap strat, where they just ran quick respawn and stealth jump. Now, ever since that tournament, there have been the debate of whether or not those things are broken have come back up. And now it's become more of a problem because that team ran quick respawn and stealth jump on weapons where most people normally wouldn't do that. The common weapons where you'd see that kind of build are the Luna and Dynamo, where people play those weapons to basically just play for trades or to get like some one person advantage off of using the weapon. And so they just use quick respawn and stealth jump so they can keep going back in and doing the same exact thing over and over. But this Japanese team would do it on weapons like 10 attack or 52 gal. And so now it's basically turned into a bunch of people running quick respawn and stealth jump on a bunch of different weapons. And now people are concerned of whether or not this was a bad influence, and that now we are shaping ourselves to being just nothing but a bunch of people running quick respawn and stealth jump. And so now people are wondering, again, is it broken? And so I decided that I wanted to give some quick 2 cents on that, and I just want to go over, why I feel that it is or is not, and then how you can help, prevent your team from suffering from this kind of situation. So usually when people play quick respawn, most of the time, at least in the Western community, people will stack quick respawn if they intend to play for trades. Or in some people's cases, like me, where if I don't feel confident enough with a weapon, I will use quick respawn on it, because then if I die or I lose a 1v1 or any form of situation, then my death becomes a little bit more irrelevant to the enemy team. But if I'm fully confident with a weapon, I wouldn't use quick respawn on it. But most people think of using quick respawn and playing for trades, or just to get the numbers advantage off of their life. And so very few people run quick respawn as just like a way of like a convenience sake, in case they do die, to just come back faster. And so having quick respawn usually results in people being more aggressive than they usually would, which is commonly seen in Lunas and Dynamos, where they'll constantly be pushing regardless if they have control or not. They'll just play overly aggressive because their death is irrelevant to them. And then the stealth jump. Stealth jump can be easily predicted. If you pay attention to the people who spawn, you can actually tell which on the team has quick respawn. And then by looking at the squids on the top of the screen, which I swear to God some people really don't realize that is a way to tell if people are alive or not, you can clearly, it won't take you very long to figure out which person on that list has stealth jump. And so a lot of the times what will happen is people will blindly stealth jump in regardless of where they are on the map, and just because they can do it, and they're going to try and catch you off guard. If you watch the skies and watch who respawns and who dies, it's not exactly hard to predict where someone's going to come from. And especially with the recent nerf, weapons can't actually attack you while they're in that stealth jump. One of the biggest problems with Dynamos and Lunas before was they could attack while in that stealth jump, so they could kill you before they even hit the ground. Now they have to hit the ground to start any form of animation whatsoever, or even start firing or anything. So there is no more cheap deaths from stealth jumps because you just couldn't react in time. You now have a bit of a time frame to react to it. So quick respawn, I do not feel is broken, because it has this kind of mental effect on people where they feel the need to play more aggressive than they should, and so it pushes them to, they will push themselves into situations they shouldn't be in. And if your team is coordinated enough, you can punish the people that overextend and like pointlessly rush in when they shouldn't. And the people that do use quick respawn as like a safety net, or just like oh crap, I finally died, but it's alright, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Those are the kind of people that it's not really too much of a hassle for, because they're just using it for a convenience sake. The biggest problem is when people see it as a way to just play for trades, and so people will use it to be overly aggressive, and then have their death be irrelevant. Stealth jump is easily predictable because you can just pay attention to who dies and who's gonna stealth jump back in, and it's not hard to tell if you kill a teammate and someone with a stealth jump is like recently respawned. Just stand where you kill that person. There's most likely going to be someone jumping there or to another teammate. So basically what it is if you see people with stealth jump, make a note on the top, the 4 squids up on the top of the enemy. Figure out which one of those are the people with quick respawn, or not stealth jump. And if you see them come back, watch anyone that you kill or any people on the opposing team that are nearby you. Chances are they're going to blindly stealth jump to one of them. And if you can just predict when they're going to jump, then you can get them, because they have to wait a time period before being able to do anything after a jump. Another easy way is to just look up. People don't realize, or people for some reason don't seem to realize, that if you look up into the sky, you can see people who are super jumping. And so if you just look up, you can tell when people are going to be stealth jumping. And you don't even have to be anywhere near. You could look up at the sky and go, well, someone's jumping in, and you just make the call and people know. And that's another thing, is stealth jump and quick respawn become irrelevant if you have communication. A lot of teams, even good teams, seem to be lacking in the form of communication when it comes to this kind of stuff, and yet they will get beaten by it, and then they will blame it and call it cheap, when it is in fact their own fault that nothing happened, and they didn't capitalize on the questionable choices the enemy team made. They got caught off guard, and they let themselves get caught off guard. You should be fully aware of what your team or your enemy team is using, and where they're going to be, and what their strategy is. When it's just quick respawn and stealth jump, you can expect them to blindly push in and blindly jump in when they shouldn't. And if they aren't doing it like that, like they're not blindly jumping in, or they're just not going for trades all the time, then it becomes less of an issue, because it is obviously not being played to just abuse the lack of a downside to these things. Quick respawn has no downside to stacking it. Stealth jump kinda does with the delayed jump, but as things in like tower control, it usually doesn't really matter. People don't really care about the delayed jump anymore. It was kind of like a thing that people pointed out at the start, but now it's become pretty irrelevant, and no one really gives a crap about that. So if you just communicate with your team, focus on who has stealth jump and who's stacking quick respawn, punish the people that overextend needlessly, and punish the people that jump in blindly, it's actually not as broken as you think it is. And in fact, you'll make the enemy team look stupid if they do stuff like that, like just blindly jump in, and you can just keep killing them. There are matches where you can get like the enemy team to have died 20 times or something, but they'll go like 1 or 2 kills if they are just that blind about it. Like, they'll just keep coming in and not paying attention to their surroundings. So if you think that quick respawn and stealth jump is broken, maybe you should think about looking into figuring out how to counter that, and look into paying attention to what people on the enemy team are running this stuff. Now, it is a bit more annoying in solo ranked because, you know, there is no communication. However, it's just something you kind of can't really handle in solo queue. Of course, you can punish people for overextending, but when it comes to cell jumps, it's going to be up to you to watch for that kind of stuff, as your team may or may not be doing it themselves. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you want to check me out on Twitter or Twitch, the information is on the screen now. And if you have annotations enabled, you can click on the thumbnails below to go to some playlists of mine.